What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing the second half of the second season for The Mandalorian, and some shit went down, let me tell you that. Let's get into episode by episode. If you like the video, please go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. I'm also going to be doing some video breakdowns for the new WandaVision that's coming out tomorrow, my time. But yeah, if you like these kind of videos, please go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. But let's get into the second half of the second season for The Mandalorian. So episode 5, The Jedi. The Mandalorian was tasked to go ahead and find a Jedi. Now, this actually turned out to be Ahsoka. But I know nothing about her, but holy shit, she is such a badass. I don't know what it is. You can give me a blaster battle, you can give me someone fighting, but there's just something special about when the Force and when lightsabers are involved in Star Wars. For me, you can't beat it. Even with a good dogfight, I'd still take a lightsaber and Force battle any day, and she was just fantastic. The planet that they're on as well, this forest planet, was really eerie, and it was kind of like plague-ridden. It was very foggy and murky, which set up a great atmosphere and ambience to the planet itself. It kind of told a story in and of itself that this planet has been through absolute hell, and so has its people, being run by this magistrate. So just in itself, it really set up a great atmosphere, and was actually used as a good storytelling device itself. There's a lot more to this planet than just being desolate. Again, this episode shows that it kind of falls back to their formula of the whole favor exchange. I need something from you, I'll go do something if you can do something for me, blah blah blah. So the magistrate asked the Mandalorian to go ahead and kill this Jedi because this Jedi is going to go ahead and kill the magistrate. The Mandalorian doesn't actually agree, but he just sort of walks off, doesn't disagree, kind of keeps it sort of vague. The Mandalorian then finds Ahsoka, and then she also has a proposition where the Mandalorian needs to help out, and in exchange she will help with the child problem. The child was given a name in this episode, Grogu, and it was really cute seeing him just responding to his name. Again, it just sort of takes their relationship to the next level, where now they're on a name basis. I didn't like how it relies so much on the exchange favor, but look, it's a thing that's not new to the series anymore. I hope they change up for season 3, but I do have a couple of things that I need filled in this video. So first one, the Mandalorian's armor. Can it completely withstand lightsabers? I know it's made of Beskar. Is the Mandalorian's armor made of pure Beskar? And also, why do the Mandalorians and the Jedis hate each other? So everyone basically helps everyone out. Mandalorian and Ahsoka come out of it. They're all buddies again. Ahsoka then says, hey, look, I know I promised you that I could train the child, but now I'm not. You need to take him to a planet called Tython, where you could put Grogu or the child onto this seeing stone, and if he taps into the Force, he may have another Jedi reach out to him through the Force, to actually have a Jedi come help train this child or Grogu. It wasn't very clear as to why she couldn't train the child. I was thinking the exact same thing when Ahsoka said, I've seen people go down this dark path, and she doesn't want to train, and it's probably better off that the child lets his powers fade. The Mandalorian says, well, isn't that all the more reason why you should help train? So I was kind of there with him. It didn't really make sense for her reasoning. But when we get to the last episode, I'm glad that they didn't let her train him, because holy shit, season finale. Alright, if I was going to give this one a rating, 7.5 out of 10, let's move on to episode 6, The Tragedy. Again, so much stuff happened in this episode too. So it starts off with the Mando and Grogu just jetpacking, flying to the Seeing Stone. You put Grogu onto the Seeing Stone, and then he fucking taps into this like avatar state. He's doing all this like Jedi stuff with this stone. You see this big beam of light, and the Mandalorian can't actually get to him because he keeps getting pushed back. And then the Mandalorian sees this ship, and then there's this guy who's in this cloak. Now, we have seen him, I think it was in the first season, but it was very brief. I didn't know who it was. I didn't bother raising it because I'm like, might just be a side character. Wasn't a side character. Holy shit, no way. He asked for the armor, Now, the Mandalorian obviously thought that he was asking for his armor, as in Din's armor. So he goes, "You're going to have to peel this armor off my dead body." This cloaked figure then says, "I'm not after your armor, I'm after my own." And I was like, wait a second. This guy says it's the armor that Din got from Cobb Vanth. And I'm like, wait a second. Does this mean that this guy is then Boba Fett? And it was. This guy is Boba Fett. I'm so glad. And for me, they redeemed him after that comical, humorous death that they did back in the movies. I always thought, I never got the hype around Boba Fett because I was like, really? He just kind of like dies and just flies into this sandworm's mouth. It was a funny moment. Like, they kind of made his death a joke. So for me, it really redeemed the character. And he is so fucking badass in this one too. Like, oh my God, I love it. In this episode as well, the Empire has also been confirmed to be making its return, or that it is back. And Boba Fett does get his armor, however, the child is taken. We then see Moff Gideon walking into this room, walking into where Grogu is being held, to see him just toying with these stormtroopers, obviously just defending himself, but it obviously makes him so sleepy that he basically passes out or gets really, really tired to close to passing out. But Moff orders one of the troopers to shoot him with some gun or whatever that puts him to sleep and put him in cuffs. This episode has got to be one of my favorite. It had everything. It had story, action, emotion. It had the interesting lore that ties into previous films. New enemies like the Dark Troopers, who are, oh, they are so cool. I love the Dark Troopers. There's great special effects. There's interesting new characters and interesting returning characters that are just developed even more. I really like this one, so I'm going to give this one about an 8.5 to 8.7 out of 10. Next episode, The Believer, episode 7. Now, Boba Fett's armor looks to be either repainted or repaired or something. And Bill Burr is back, and oh my God, I did not think that I would like his character as much as I did. With the reintroduction of Bill's character, we kind of get another sort of break-in, break-out kind of story, similar to season 1. They basically use Bill as his skills and his access to the Empire. He has a history of being in the Empire, so obviously he's familiar with the insides and all that sort of stuff, so they're going to be using him for his skill and his access. It was really, really surprising, though, that yes, he said working for the Empire was sort of a distant type thing, obviously and clearly not that proud of it. And when Bill and Mando finally make it into the base after escaping the pirates, they have a drink with one of the generals or something, and Bill starts to tear up. He starts talking about the thousands and thousands of people that died in their homes in the name of the Empire. And you can obviously see that Bill's character, in just maybe 5-10 minutes, has just so much development and growth. I was like, holy shit, this guy, I need him in season 3. He started tearing up, and I did not know Bill Burr was such a good actor. He obviously shoots a general, and then it's a whole just gun war in this base. This episode then ended with a message to Moff Gideon from the Mandalorian saying that he's on his way to come take back the child. Again, a really, really action-packed, story-driven episode that fed into the main narrative. I loved it. Another 8.5 to 8.7 out of 10 from me. But let's get into the last episode of this season. Holy shit. Okay, so episode 8, The Rescue. The gang devised a plan to pretend that they're under attack and they needed to board Moff Gideon's ship. Boba Fett was attacking them from his ship and just sort of making it kind of convincing that he was the one attacking. They're flying into their ship, and they're also sending out TIE fighters as well. They eventually get onto the ship. Boba Fett just yeets, and he's in the hyperdrive, and it just went down. It just went down on this after this. It was insane. You can see from the security camera footage and all that sort of stuff that Moff Gideon is looking in to see what's happening. And the gang is just tearing up all the troopers and everything on this ship. You then see more Dark Troopers, and one manages to escape this sort of captivity thing, just so happened to open it, and then when it ran out, it closed. So all the other Dark Troopers were sort of locked in. And it basically handed the Mandalorian his ass. There was no way he was getting out of having multiple released at once. He then opens the vent there, got sucked down into space, which I was kind of like, well, that's surely not the end of them, because they're just robots. Like, they can just fly back in, right? Yes, they do. Get to that in a second. Now, the Mandalorian eventually makes his way to where the child, or Grogu, is being held captive. You see him in his cuffs, and you also see Moff standing there with his Darksaber just over his head. We also get a bit of a backstory to the Darksaber, and that whoever wields it has the claim over the Mandalorian throne. However, it can only be won through combat. Another fill in time. I think it was said that the Darksaber can cut through anything except for pure Beskar. When the Mando was fighting Goff, the saber was heating up the pure Beskar spear that the Mando was using. To me, that shows that it could cause damage to the spear. So what is stronger, the spear or the Darksaber in terms of going against each other? I know the Darksaber will probably be a more useful weapon just in general, but when you're pitting these two against each other, what is actually stronger? Because it can definitely heat up the spear, which we saw in the episode. But if you hold it on it long enough, is it going to eventually break the spear, or be able to bend it, make it malleable, make it useless in battle? I don't know. Let me know. That's another fill-in time. So as we said, the Dark Troopers fly back onto the ship, because obviously why wouldn't they? They're just robots. And then they start hunting down the gang. They're all in some little room at the front of the ship, or wherever they are. The barriers close shut, and then basically all hope seems lost. You then see an X-Wing fly past and board the ship. They asked this person to identify themselves, but there's just silence. I knew something was going on, because when they came in, Grogu's ears pricked up. I was like, okay, what's going on here? The Dark Troopers also just stop what they're doing. They stop punching. The punching completely stops in the door. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, who is in this X-Wing? You then see a lightsaber through the security cameras. I'm like, okay, it's another Jedi. Like, who is this? It's this person in a hooded figure. I'm like, who the hell is this? No, like, I have no idea. You then see a green lightsaber, and I'm thinking, no way. Like, they're just teasing. They're gonna say that someone got Luke's, lightsaber or something. But you then see, eventually they pan up, and you see the glove where his hand got cut off. And I'm like, no way. And then the guy pulls off his mask, and it's motherfucking Luke Skywalker. They brought Mark Hamill back. I was like, what the hell? The technology to de-age his face looked great. It was a bit blurry, and it kind of like a little bit lifeless in some scenes, but for the most part, it looked fantastic. I can't believe they actually brought him back. And I can't believe it actually wasn't spoiled well before this episode came out. It also just shows to me that nothing is off limits. They are more than happy to reach into past actors if they're available and wanting to come back and sort of reprise their roles and just tell a really good story without limits. When the Mando was saying goodbye to the child, he took off his helmet to say goodbye face to face, and that shit was so emotional. And then bloody R2-D2 rolls around the corner. I'm like, oh my god, what is going on here? It was such a good way to end the season, such a good way to end the episode. I loved everything about this episode. Now, another fill-in time. They get to the end credit scene, which I have no idea what the hell happened. Boba Fett kills someone. I don't know who that is. He then sits on a chair or a throne. Don't know what that signifies. So please go ahead, fill that in for me. I have no idea what the hell that meant at the end. So my final thoughts on season 2. By far, it was the much stronger part of this season, and also the second half of season 2 was so much stronger than the second half of season 1 by far. Season 2 had a big improvement for me over season 1, because they still relied on that exchange of favor sort of format that they really rely heavily on. However, I found the difference between season 1 and season 2 is that in season 1, the exchange of favors didn't tie into anything. It was just, oh, we're on our way to something and we're just going to exchange favors on the way. It's kind of meaningless. We could just skip over this and nothing would change. Whereas in this season, the exchange of favors were still there, but they were kind of muted by the fact that the exchange of favors was still relevant to the main narrative and storyline that was going on. It meant that it felt relevant. It felt important still, even though it was kind of like a side thing. It still felt kind of important. And mainly, it just didn't feel like a waste of time. I really appreciated that. I love the returning characters and the new characters they were introducing, all very interesting, especially Boba Fett. I love how they sort of redeemed him for me. Bringing back Luke or Mark Hamill, oh my god, I wasn't expecting that at all. And again, as I said before, it just shows that they're just prepared to do anything to tell a good story, and nothing is off limits in this show. As I've been saying from the first video I did on The Mandalorian, it just really seems that this show is being taken care of and being made by people who are genuine fans of the Star Wars franchise. It's getting the high level of respect, care, and love that it really needs. And I've been speaking to different Star Wars fans, and even they're saying that this show just has reinvigorated Star Wars for them. There's not much else I can say. As someone who wasn't a fan of Star Wars, I've loved this show. I cannot wait for season 3. I didn't think I'd be liking it as much as I do. I can't wait. I'm so surprised I'm saying these words. I can't wait for another season of a Star Wars show. What the hell? But that's the video today, guys. I'd give this one a 9.5 out of 10. It was a fantastic episode and a great way to end off season 2. That's the video. If you do like these videos, please go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. As I said before, I'm going to be doing some video coverage on the WandaVision TV show as well. Hope you guys stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, bye.